Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tony Fix Morning Show. I'm Tony T here, ready to deliver some picks here from the major card today. We'll have picks today from college football, the NBA, and then we'll close it out with the NHL. We've got, of course, college basketball started early next week. We'll be ready to roll when that time arrives. But let's meet the cappers and we'll get right to the picks. Let's say hello to Rod. Rod, what's going on?
Oh, not too much, Tony. Not a bad day yesterday. Hockey treated me well. I went 3-3 yesterday. Just looking 3-3 day yesterday. So paid a little bit of juice because we had some nice plus money on just a little bit of juice because we had some nice Sharks winner on the ice.
Yeah,
it was a good one. Should have put the Oilers in as a premium. I kind of figured they were gonna step up in that one like they did before without McDavid in there. And man, the Jets, they tried every which way to lose that game. Definitely. Congratulations, the Jets got themselves a win.
That's right.
Yes.
I give it all kudos to Wilson with that catch. What a catch! you got to give it to him.
So close.
I was out giving candy out, but following the score. But what's his face had a great game. The receiver,
Adams.
Adams.
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks over had a super strong game. So.
Yep. That's what's going on, Jorge.
What's that?
No, how are things going? You get the
what? What's that? That's exactly the answer.
All right.
I just put out an NBA game yesterday and I lost that SOP.
Oh wow!
That's all right. I'll be bouncing back today. To check it out. It always happens to me every year when I pick up that stupid blue book, the college basketball blue book.
Yeah.
And it's so overwhelming to even start thumbing through it. Your brain goes like Roddy. The Rod gene jumps out of me, and I go, "Oh crap! How am I going to do all this stuff?" And then the next thing I know is, "Oh, I got to post a game." Wait, no, but so we have Hell Sport week or the Hell Week in football, and even when you start any sport, when you get out there and they make you run laps, that's what I think November is, man. You got college basketball, NBA. In the middle of the two football seasons, baseball's over, hockey's there. It's just crazy. I mean, you really just try to look at a sport and find your best game and try to get through it. Because if you won't, you blow yourself up. So, my style is a little bit boring and I kind of grind along. It definitely works a lot better when there's a lot going on.
Plus 2283 is pretty boring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been there for a little while too.
Yeah.
You're
doing great. Yeah.
Yeah. I try to maintain it for the gamblers. I mean that way, of course I've had a lot of balls bounce my way for sure. But if you can grind it out during the tough months, man, and you can figure out the teams during that, you usually end up having the rest of a winter or spring especially in the hoops.
Yeah, the hoops, of course, college basketball coming up soon. Next week, let's say hello to Mindy. Mindy, what's happening?
I'm recovering from my trick-or-treating, so I got candy overload because everyone gives me all of their Almond Joy and Butterfingers. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. They're like, if it wasn't for me and Almond Joy, I think they might be, out of business. So, but it's like one of my favorite candy bars. Just saying.
Oh, yes. And, of course, I had 2-0 day yesterday. The under came in well. And then the one pick out of the four that I did on the free picks, of course, I chose one premium. One with the Grizzlies. So I was happy because I picked the right. I happened just to pick the right one there. And
did you dress up as a Raider fan and go out and scare little kids?
Well, we do. I have some neighbors here. What we do is we set up this big block party where about a dozen or so of us get together. I'm more than that, maybe about 8 or 9 of us. It depends on who's available. We set tables up and we have our own little square where everybody comes over. And the thing is, social media, we did that because the word gets out, so we get tons of kids, like almost 400 kids.
Oh, geez.
So it makes everybody a little website, charges them a commission to come on the website.
Yeah. Well, the thing is well now on social media, there's what's this app called where your neighborhood app? So what happens is people
that's cool.
They track that stuff and say, hey, come over here on this street. There's 10 tables, and we line up our candy, and everyone gets one out of each bucket, and they come over, and we know it's successful because we see SUVs stop and parking, allowing kids coming up, and there's for about an hour straight we had nonstop kids.
Oh my God,
awesome. That's awesome.
But because you got like 30 tables, right? So it's like hitting 30 houses all at once. So it's just score.
Yeah. Right? So, we caught one. Oh my God, some of these parents, man. Well, they would tell their kid to go around again twice. We had one incident. You know?
So,
we had
so
a particular
similar.
incident.
It was just one table. We had something similar. One table. This guy grew up in East LA. He's out here. He works for Reebok and real good guy. He told a story how he gives out full candy bars. I was like, oh, dude, I would love to do that. I remember that as a kid. So I went down to Costco, bought a box of full candy bars, and you can tell little kids you can take one big one and as many as the little ones as you want. The first little kid looks up to me, looks devious as hell. He takes his big piece, and then he shoved his hand into the little pieces, and it had him falling out of every knuckle and under every hand. And he looked at me like, hey, you said I could take whatever I want. I wanted to say something, but I laughed because I was like, that was me when I was a little kid. If you told me I could have as many as I want, I was taking it.
Right.
I would reach for the bowl as a kid. If you said I could take as many as I want, well, then I'm going to.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the bowl.
Yeah.
But the guy that I remember the most is the guy that gave out whole 2-liter bottles of pop.
Oh, really?
Halloween as a trick. Yeah, you go to the door.
2 liters? I mean, I've had the people give you like a can.
He stood on his. He had one of those decks that were on top of his garage. So when you walked up, you looked up and he was all dressed up. It was like a cauldron. The whole yard was all done up, and it came down on like a slide. So you asked what you wanted. You asked for what you wanted. You want root beer, cream soda, whatever. And he would just drop it down the slide, and then you'd scoop up the whole.
That is awesome.
And you on your way.
Wow.
Oh, that guy, a lot, huge. He made the media all over the place.
Yeah.
For
I hung out with a Canadian couple last night that actually just moved to Vegas. They've been here a long time, but they're so nice. They're so nice.
No, yeah, it's a fun time. Halloween always fun out here. You know, so
I had a hard time, but I love Canadians. I had a Canadian roommate. It's a great culture, man. They're just the nicest people. They really are.
I was like, in LA, does everyone like dress up like, I mean, all of their parents are in Hollywood, right? And so they have like the coolest costumes.
Oh, coolest costume. Yeah,
Hollywood is 24/7. They're always dressed that way.
The coolest one was one kid came in as a teenage Chucky, and he really played the part really well. I mean, he spooked people. He was spooking people because he didn't look like.
We had a guy come up and do the Muertos, the Day of the Dead. Mm-hmm. Man, he would have won an award anywhere he went. Man, his outfit, the shiny shoes he had, the makeup. I mean, he could have been literally good. They would have thrown him on a show in Vegas. I mean, he walked up because he just wanted to get by the burning, little fire we had going, and it was impressive. I was like, damn, dude, you easily win. I mean, these kids don't even got a shot.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking this, but we saw a lot more older kids this year than we have in a long time. Not knocking.
I got mad at me because I let the little kids come first. Little kids had food choice.
Yeah. But I'm cool with the older kids doing it. Get them out of the house, at least get out and do something, learn, But very polite. I was very happy with it. Very polite kids, well mannered. It was good to see. I had a good time last night. A lot of fun. All right,
I'm not gonna turn away an older kid. If you want to still, I wouldn't turn away an adult at 40 years old if you were dressed up and all full beard and all dressed up in a Halloween costume asking for Halloween.
It sounds like you got denied candy last night, Rod.
I know that one guy. He wouldn't let me. How old are you? I'm an early kid. Don't worry, I hit puberty
early,
so.
Yeah. Sometimes the kids, sometimes
why
the
not,
kids
right?
With the parents will dress up too with the kids.
We're all a big kid at heart.
With all the dumb media stuff, since we're totally off topic, with all the dumb media stuff we're getting and stupid ads all over the place, it was fun to see like real humanity. People out, it doesn't matter which side of the party they were on. There was the candy with the kids, or our neighbors were talking to each other. Like real human, not this social media mental masturbation they're putting everybody through.
Yeah, it's
real, man.
That's good. All right. We got through the Halloween, so now we're in the month of November, which is the busiest month in our industry, and it is. We're getting college football, heat of the big matchups. We'll get to the end of the year. We get to these conference playoffs. Oh, and of course, we get through these playoff shows now. There'll be more screaming and hollering on the TV about who should be 12, who should be 13. It's going to be nonsense. But we stick to the games here day by day. So let's go to college football tonight. We got Georgia State, UConn. UConn laying 8 in this one. There are some 9s popping up. USF and FAU here. South Florida road favorite, 2.5, total 47. And in the Mountain West tonight, San Diego State, Boise State laying 23.5, total 57. We start with Rod.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Georgia State taking on UConn here, and you look Georgia State. They were hanging early in games this season, but not lately. You got whooped by App State, whooped by Marshall, whooped by Old Dominion, whooped by Georgia Southern. I see why that line's moving. UConn's going to come in and whoop you in that one by 10 plus. I'll lay it with UConn there in that matchup. And then the other one, I like the over. Boise and San Diego State at 57.5. I think Boise could almost get there on their own. The way they've been scoring and lighting up, and I just don't trust San Diego State enough. But we need San Diego State to pitch in a few points, but not a whole lot, given the over 57 there. I think we easily cruise into the 60s in that matchup.
Yeah, from Jorge, we'll move on. I'm sorry, from Rob, we'll move on over to Jorge. I thought I'm going to go back and look at that forecast in Boise. This is the time of the year. A lot of weather games this week, a lot of wind in some locations, especially around the Midwest. Mindy, make sure you tie things down over there because I'm seeing a lot of wind in some of these games, even rain. This Boise State game, Jorge, could be rain, could be some wind in this one.
Yeah, it's not as bad as what the forecast is down in for Florida Atlantic. However, I did check the weather. It was supposed to be 20 constantly with some gusts of winds up in the 30s. However, I have a buddy of mine who lives out right by FAU. He's still in the record books for running the spread offense back in 1981. So if there's anybody who knows about where you can throw a football, it's him. So I called him, and he's like, man, flag's still down. That means it's about 15 miles an hour coming from a quarterback. You know what I mean? So I definitely taking his word for it now. But, hey, it could change. I didn't get a peek up there, Tony, but, the funny thing I told him was like, hey, the biggest mentor, the sharpest guy I ever learned from, told me that the only sure bet in sports is the weather. And Rod will probably understand this more than anybody else, but to me, I think he made up a effing word, but it was blustery.
Blustery, that's a word.
We've heard blustery.
Blustery.
Yeah, the West Coast, we don't hear blustery. I mean,
It's an old school term.
Yeah, right. But yeah, he says it can't just be windy. Now, over 25 miles an hour, you're not throwing anything. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? At 25 miles is kind of like the number if it's constant over there. You can't kick, you can't throw. There'll be debris flying around. He says, but between 15 and 20, if you're gonna mix of water, sleet, some snow with some wind, things become very treacherous.
Yeah, it becomes
when you gotta have a little bit of a combo of all those things. So FAU could still potentially be a bad one, Tony.
You said it's no rain in that forecast though in the FAU. It's just
just wait. But it was 25 miles an hour, and it's stronger only in the first half of the game. Well, in that one, I was thinking the first half under. It has dropped from 52 to 47. You're not going to see that much of a line drop unless they think the weather is that bad. But I'll check in with my buddy again. That'll be a late steam play for me for sure. I'm going to check on that last weather report. Have poke outside because he lives right by FAU. So we get a report on that one. And Connecticut, I mean, I haven't followed Connecticut too much. Yeah, Georgia State was really good to start the season. I had them, I had them against Vanderbilt plus 8.5. And I thought they would from there become a lot better. But as Rod said, they lose their backups. The thing with these small schools, when you're not NIL money, you're not too deep. Your good guys left. Right, the ones that can get NIL somewhere left. Your star's gone. Right, so now you're depleted. Your second stringer's got to play first string, and you don't have backups. So as soon as they get some key injuries in there, and Georgia State, when I watched them play Georgia Tech, I had Georgia Tech had to sweat it out, but they played tough, and then they come back with 2 wins. I was like, wow, these guys are pretty good. Tanked. So go with Rod there to lean a little bit on Connecticut, but not sold on Connecticut yet. But they should be able to take care of a beat up team that's not producing.
There we go from Jorge. Move on over to Mindy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with anything you guys have said. I like UConn here today. If I look at everything, all three of these overall, quarterback play is really, really similar, surprisingly, with all of these games. So it's going to come down to all of the other things, right? So it's going to come down to the defense or the running game or what have you. So I kind of look to all the home teams here in this one today also. I'm going to go ahead and take UConn and then Florida Atlantic at home and then Boise at home as well. So I think it's going to be all of the extra things, right, that make the teams complete, just not the quarterback play here today. So we'll take the better teams in all of these going forward here today.
There for me, I say what I think. I'll be the one on Georgia State today. Just the quarterback play, just to consider for me to lay these many points here with the Huskies. So I'll look at Georgia State here at plus the points. Georgia State 4-2 the spread with a road dog of 3.5 to 10 in this spot. Another one I'll look at is I'm going to go ahead and take those points with San Diego State. It's just Aztecs have covered 4 straight, 7-2 to the spread on the road in conference, but their offense has shown enough improvement for me to back them in this spot. And of course, we'll keep an eye on that weather, what the wind looks like in that one. Boise, we know about how they run the football, but I've seen enough improvement from this Aztecs team to back them in this spot. They should have beaten Washington State last week. They blew that lead in that fourth quarter, but I'll look them in this one at plus
10 to 12, it says so far, but that could change by game time, right? It's still early,
Yeah.
8 in the morning. They're predicting it says 10 to 12 miles. With
I see
with
Boise
the chance
State.
of
The wind always settles down at in the nighttime usually as well.
Okay, so Boise State, from what I'm seeing, moderate takeaway on the change, 13 miles an hour, but there will be some rain. So you got a little bit of combo in there. Nothing significant, but you're not going to get an air battle by any stretch. And they still have 21 miles an hour at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. for Southern Florida with this FAU. And they still have that takeaway offense, heavy impact, and then the takeaway is moderate, which I don't get. But if it's sustaining over 20 miles an hour and some gusts, Florida wind doesn't let up, guys. My family lives down there. I go down there to visit. When that stuff starts, it's just like constant, man. Like a blow dryer. I was like, does this ever let up? I was like,
one of these days you just need to go to Wichita.
Oh, yeah,
in Kansas, where there is nothing to block the wind.
Oh,
just go there one of these days.
Oh, no.
You can just come here. We always, it's usually windy. Trust me. It's why do you think they put up windmills?
Yeah, I mean, I think
they've got the wind towers right here, and it's because it comes off the mountains, right? It comes off the mountains and it hits the flat prairies where I am, and then it's.
There you go. See, in the prairies, that's where you got to be.
He taught me.
You'll never get another win like the prairies.
So we'll get blustery when the sun starts coming too. So
if you get a blustery game, my mentor used to say, the only sure bet in football is the weather.
There you go. So keep an eye on that.
One of those days I will have to do one outside. I'll do a morning show. I'll be bundled up and I'll hold this selfie stick and just in the blustery blizzard. I'll show you what it can get like in Canada on
what are you going to wear?
Winter.
No thanks.
You get the wind here up until Thanksgiving, and then beyond that, we start to get the freezing cold and the snow and the ice and all that. But this is the windy time of the year, guys. So keep an eye there on those
weather.
reports.
Absolutely, November as well. Correct.
Yep. Yeah. We'll continue here. We'll move on over to the association night. We'll do 2 at a time. We'll start with Celtics Hornets. Looks like Boston going to be laying 11 on the road here. Total 232. Knicks and the Pistons here. The Knicks here laying 6.5. The total coming in at 216. We'll start off with Rod.
Yeah, and looking at that Knicks taking on the Pistons. The Pistons did us good the other day. I'm going to go right back to them here at home. 6.5 points is just too many. I'm going to go with the Pistons plus the 6.5. They can keep it close. I don't know if they outright New York, but I think they can definitely hang in inside that 6.5 points there. So give me the Pistons there. And then you look at this Boston taking on Charlotte. This is one of those back-to-back spots. It's not even a home and home. They're going to play one game tonight, and then they're going to play again in Charlotte again tomorrow. So you know what? This is one of those spots that I think that it's a Friday night in Charlotte. Boston's going to come in a little flat. I don't think they come out like they're gangbusters ready to kick the snot out of Charlotte in this one. I think the Charlotte Hornets are the other side, though. I think they come out like gangbusters and want to kick the crap out of Boston here in this one. I think they get the win, and I think they get it outright. I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets on the money line to beat Boston in this one tonight.
They're from Rod.
I just like what I've seen from Charlotte. They've been a scrappy bunch. They've stepped up, and I think they step up in the spot. They did it last year as well. It took overtime to do it, but I think they can get it done. To be Charlotte money line over Boston.
Yes. Keep an eye on the injury report here. Towns is questionable here for the Knicks. We know that Achiuwa and Robinson have been out. Clinton and Thompson backups are out for Detroit. On the Boston side, Porzingis out. Hollister probable. Jeffries, Williams out here for Charlotte. But we see an upgrade here to Miller. Miller now questionable here for Charlotte. We move on over to Jorge.
And man, if you're going from Miami to Detroit, I would have to say the Pistons partied in Miami and not Detroit. You got to play, and they won, so they're in 6.5, man. If they're on, and that thing's on South Beach. Back in the day when Peter Gold ran Vegas Insider, I met him and we went around to the little bridge, and he had his Maserati and went Miami Beach style, and pulled up right to the stadium where he pulled. But man, that was just a show to the show. I don't think the players go back to the room; they just take their bus, go right back to South Beach. It is literally right there on the arena. So anyway, all joking aside, I don't see how motivated they could be to come in there. They're not 100%. They're not deep in the middle, and back up on Rod there a little bit. They brought some veterans over there now, Tobias Harris, some other guys to show these youngsters the toughness of the league, and I think that's what we're seeing a little bit in these games. Nick's not being at full strength. I'll take them plus 6.5. Like I said, I don't see them getting motivated in this spot. A lot of times if you see these guys play together, if it's that contention that teams are going to play in the playoffs or superstar meet each other. Kind of off nights the other nights, they want to go in there and get a win and get out of there. So I think we'll see a little bit of that in the Knick game. And Charlotte, still not sure what to see on them, but Boston's just destroying teams. 126, 114, rebounding edge. Charlotte's been hitting the boards pretty hard and shooting decently. So a lot of points there. I'm not as ballsy as Mr. Rod over there, but I'll take plus the points.
Plus points there with Rod. Move on over to Mindy.
Excuse me, Mindy.
That's okay. I don't know. I mean, the Knicks, they lose by an average of 7 points normally. So now I'm like, you're going to go ahead and be giving 6 points to the Pistons? Nah, I like the Pistons in that one. Same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and take the points with the Hornets. Celtics just having trouble covering on the road. So it could be one of those spots there for the Hornets today. So agree with you guys so far.
You're from Mindy there. I'll tell you, I like the Pistons as well, plus the points. The Knicks aren't defending very well here out of the gates. They're getting 117 points per 100 possessions. Of course, Cat is out. The Knicks aren't very deep, right? Well, I don't say Cat's not out. Cat's questionable.
Towns don't play their defense either.
But it's Cat.
That's why they were happy to ship him out of Minnesota. Towns likes to hang out at the three-point line. He ain't going down that thing.
Yep. Speaking of defense, we are showing the Pistons here defending 46% shooting overall, allowing 35.5 from three, and they've covered three straight. So I'll look at the Pistons as well. This Boston-Charlotte game, I will look here at the Hornets at home. They're putting up 122 points per game, shooting 48%, 38% from three. Of course, Ball is the guy, right? He's been healthy this year. That has something to do with it. Looking here at the Celtics on the road, hitting just 43%. So they haven't been as sharp away from home. I'll look Charlotte plus the points. All right, let's continue here on the Tony Hicks Morning Show as we get ready for the next series of games. We will take a look here at the Magic and the Cavs here. The Cavs laying 7.5 notice. Banchero will be out for a couple of weeks with that was an oblique injury, I believe it was. Kings and Hawks. Kings favored 6.5, total 237.5. We start here with Rock.
Yeah, I'm looking at some reports I've seen where that Banchero could be out 4 to 6 weeks with that oblique injury. He'd be a big miss for this Magic team to start the season because he's definitely a key piece there. But still at 8, where it is, I'm not in a hurry to bet it. I think that thing continues to rise, but I'll just keep watching it go up, and then I'll take the Magic to keep it close. I've seen this plenty of times in the NBA that when you hear that a guy's out, everybody jumps on the other side.
First game, just the first game. Just that first game, when that sub gets their chance. I always tell people, don't overreact. Yes, the first game, I agree with you, but don't overreact. They're a sub for a reason because they don't play consistently.
No, they don't get it consistently. But they always get that chance. Yeah, you give them their chance to start and shine. They usually step up in that spot. So I like the Magic there. I'm not in a hurry to bet it. Watch that line.
Cleveland is good, though.
Cleveland's good. I give it to them.
Who's more surprisingly good than the Cavaliers right now? Nobody.
Correct. So nobody's better. No
126 to 107. That's a rear end whooping. So
that's why I'm sitting here waiting. And I think I'll get 10. I think by this afternoon we probably see a 9 or 10 in that game.
And then you're gonna when it buys back down to 8, I'm gonna know you bet on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I'm going to tell everybody to buy it back on it too. So
I'm going to tell everyone.
I'm going to tell
everyone.
Well, the move is down to 7.5 at Penny, so we're starting to see him copy the Penny number now.
Yeah, I see. I think at 8,
they're listening to you, Rod.
Too many in that spot. So give me the Magic plus the points there in that one. And then what was the second one we did?
Kings Hawks.
Kings and Hawks. Give me the over in the Kings and Hawks, 237. I think we can get into the 240s. Not a lot of defense played by those two teams. Track meet in Atlanta. Give me the over.
Yeah, over from Ron on over to Jorge.
Yeah, two soft teams, right? Two teams that were supposed to be tougher. They added some pieces. I mean, it doesn't mean they won't be tough by the end of the season and playoff, and they find that right chemistry. But both extremely soft coming out the gate. You got to talk about a team that the whole team doesn't even get back to the other free throw line. That's the Hawks. They don't run laps. They don't do anything. It's gonna be the laziest team. They're like the anti-Miami Heat. Miami Heat. They're proud to be. They can play 7 dudes and play the whole game and not run out of gas. The Heat culture is we're the best in shape team in the league. The Hawks are. What's the weight room? Run? What do you got to run for? We just play
cardio.
Yeah, Hawks won't play no defense, man. I'm withdrawing the offense.
Yeah. From Jorge. Next, we move on over to Mindy.
I'm going to go ahead and I'll be on the Cavs here. Home team likes to cover in this spot. I mean, they've covered their last 7. And then it's the same thing here. I'm going to take the Kings. It's the Hawks that tends to fail to cover at home. So I'm going to go ahead and be on the Kings and the Cavs here in this one.
Yep, I'll tell you what I think about that. I know the regression people are going to look at Orlando's side. Cleveland is just playing out of their. The thing is, you've got both Allen and Mobley healthy, which we didn't see last year in the playoffs. Which led to their exit. Now you've got a healthy squad here for Cleveland for the most part.
Now Mitchell does. They're all like Mitchell's finally learning to back off, defer like a Dwayne Wade. It's kind of a good scenario to compare that to. Defer the ball until you have to score because no one can stop you one-on-one. So let everybody else get involved, and he hasn't had to. It's going so well, he hasn't had to take anyone one-on-one. So if Mitchell's not scoring 35, 40 points a game, they're going to be very dangerous.
There's also an injury here with Franz Wagner questionable, so he's a rotational player there for Orlando. So that's another key piece that may or may not play in this game. Just scoured here. We know Atlanta's been dealing with a lot of injuries here to some of their backups here. Bogdanovich, Bufkin, Hunter, they're out here. So they're lacking some depth. But even so, I'll look at the game today. I'm going to go ahead and lay Cleveland here. They've just double-digit wins in both home games. I'm not going to buy the regression angle. I'm pretty sure people are going to think they're going to come back a little bit. But Orlando defending well. The Cavs here, averaging 123 points per 100 possessions, a plus 17.5 net rating. And the thing with Orlando is they're not covering the three-point line very well this season. And I'll look for the Cavs in that spot. And I'm going to take the points here with Atlanta Hawks. I'm just not trusting this Kings team, although they have they do sit 7th in offensive efficiency, but they've really struggled for the 3-point line on the road this year, just about 30%. In Atlanta, they shoot the ball better at home, 48%, 36% from 3. So I'll look at Atlanta Hawks plus the points. All right, let's continue here on the Tony Fix Morning Show as we get ready for the next series of games. The Lake Show at Toronto Raptors here. Lakers going to be laying now 9.5. This line has moved here from an opener of 7. Total has moved up from 227 to 231 to 231. So there's been a lot of movement here with Lakers Raptors. Bulls and Nets. We got the Nets 1.5. Total 227. Start with Rod.
Yeah, and for me in that time spot, I will lay it with the Lakers. It's the Raptors as a home dog. They're awful. Just awful as a home dog and at a plus 9. I'm not doing it. I know that look what they've done to start the season, 4-1, but Barnes out still for Toronto, I believe, and definitely dealing with some injuries. Is this Raptors team
quickly doubtful?
Yeah, see, so there's some they're dealing with some injuries. I think Lakers come in, win by 10 plus there in that one. And what was the other one we went with?
Bulls Nets.
Bulls Nets.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't want to be the guy that jumps the wrong one. So for me in that one, Bulls and Net and the Nets, and you look what the Nets are doing. Giving up at least 116 points a game is what the Nets have been doing. Give me the over 227 in that one. I don't think a whole lot of defense can be played. Both teams 3-2 to the over. I think we easily get into the 230s. Take the over 227 there.
I got a little teary-eyed yesterday. I read the article that Bronny scored his first points in Cleveland. Oh!
My favorite was they had the top 3 father-son duos, and LeBron and Bronny were third, and it was said 40,000 points to 0.
Tony knows back in the day before LeBron won, I used to have the LeBron James haters headquarters on Fox Radio on the way home. People would just call to blow me up, tell me I was an idiot. I didn't know anything I was talking about. Hey, well, what are you going to be the king of? The king of nothing? Oh man, if I was on the air right now, I would just go. I'd be going great.
good.
And I'm sure there's guys out there doing it.
Yeah. Jorge was a Wade guy. Jorge was a Wade guy. That was his guy.
And I did it for fun too. But no, you can't be the king of something if you haven't won. And, you know, I don't care how cocky you are, like Jordan or something like that. You can be an asshole. Who cares? But back it up. You know what I mean? That's fine. That's what you do. You're the best. But yeah, so I was like, until he won, and you know, then I gave him his props after that. But the team, and here's another one. Man, I'm on a bad run today, but the ball squared effect, guys. The Ball brothers are back, and one of their teams are covering spreads. I was going to mention this to Carolina. Lorenzo Ball's back. I've always liked him. You know, the kids are class act. The dad's a buffoon, but the kids are cool. They make funny commercials. They're great interviews. So his dad does it all for media. Obviously, you know, he raised them well. He had one that was a little bit of a knucklehead, but you know, the other two are great. Great positive attitudes. Couldn't shoot much when they came in the league. Now they're nailing threes like nothing. So I got nothing respect for both of the Balls brothers, the point guards for their respected teams. They're worth points. And I'll say take the Bulls here. They've upset a couple teams already, and they didn't have their whole point guard that whole last year. When you and both those guys make everyone better. I mean, they're really awesome to watch and a lot of fun. So definitely a back Lorenzo Ball in this one.
All right, they're from Jorge on over to Mindy.
Jorge. I'm going to go ahead and take the Nets there at home. They've won their last 8 home games. Bulls, that differential, they tend to lose by, you know, the 3 to 4, the 5 range. So I just kind of feel like it's not quite going to be enough to cover here in this one. And it's the same thing like with the Lakers and the Raptors. Raptors usually, if you look at like their point differential, they're losing by about 8 right now. So I feel like that line with the way that it's moving, I'm going to go ahead and take the Raptors here. Even though, what is it? They've lost like their last 21 versus the Western Conference. So, but still going to take the points here.
Yeah, with Mindy, I'll tell you what I think about these. Yeah, I'm going to take the points here with Toronto. I think a lot of Laker fans get lost in the fact that, you know, basketball is a two-way sport. It's not just offense, but the defense has not been there since the start of the season. Matter of fact, they've been outscoring teams. When you look at the defensive numbers, they're 26th in defensive efficiency, and that showed up in that Cleveland game, right? Allowing 117 points per 100 possessions, a negative net rating. We know the Raptors are having the struggles defensively, but their rating points just 2 points behind the Lakers on the defensive side of the court. And LA giving up 52% shooting here on the road. And you know, the Raptors have been brutal here defensively as well. LA giving up 124 points per game on the road. Raptors have covered. Is that right? Raptors have covered 4 straight. And that's the business we're in right now, is covering the spread. LA as a road favorite here, 5-11 of the spread. And this is based on going against the Lakers defense. Yeah, they're not defending very well. I have to go back and run some numbers. They may have been defending better with Ham, maybe shooting better with Riddick. I mean, that may be that may be the scenario here, because I don't know if Riddick played much defense in his time in the NBA. He was just launching threes all the time because he focuses a lot on the offense, but I don't hear him talk a whole lot about defense. So this may be, you know, a situation here where we're just looking to outscore opponents. And we'll see how that goes as the season moves on. Maybe the assistants are in charge of on the defensive end, but I'm not seeing any defensive played by the Lakers. We saw that they were pretty much outfit. They were physical. The team just got physical with them, and they were able to beat them. I'll take the Raptors there. Bulls and the Nets. I've been a fan of this Nets team since the start of the season because they were lowest 19.5 season win total, and everybody was poo-pooing on them. So I'm just taking this contrarian route. So when teams tell you, when a lot of the sharps out there tell you who's going to be the worst team in the league, it seems it goes the other way sometimes, you know. Like BYU, I'm not going to
BYU, that's right.
Yeah, BYU was one. Cardinals last year, they were never going to win a game, and you know the Patriots are never going to win a game, and you know I'm gonna look here at the Nets because the Nets do have some pretty good assets in the starting line, like Cam Thomas, Cameron Johnson, and again, we know what they're trying to do. They're going to try to build.
Simmons is a baller. You know, I don't care. I'm not a fantasy guy. And I'm sure hell's not a prop bet guy to try to figure out points, dude. There's guys that are just ballers and they're gamers. And you can say whatever you want about him, but he's not trying to shoot a jump shot, but he can do everything else extremely well at 6'10". So, you know, and his back's not a problem, and he's in there. He's going to cover.
Yep. Brooklyn, by the way, 6th in offensive efficiency, averaging 116 points per 100 possessions, a flat net rating for them. Bulls have struggled shooting the basketball. And at home, the shooting's better for Brooklyn. They put up 127 points per game at home. And that's the thing I said with Brooklyn. They're trying to build up trade value for these guys, right? Cameron Johnson, Cameron Thomas, because they're looking to load guys. They're going to be sellers, but I don't know if they're going to be around the playoff hunt here. I don't know. But anyway,
I'm going to say it's too early to say who's doing that, Tony. You can't say that. They've already traded Bridges away. They got some picks. Right. When you're sitting with picks, if you're winning and you're going to get a big guy in there that'll do, some consistent scoring, they might trade some of those guys and bring a star to you. Remember, that's the New York market too.
Right.
So they're not going to back down. And if they got some potential wins there, it takes chemistry in the NBA. Especially if you got 4 guys that'll play defense out of your starters, like legit defense that they're going to have the edge. You got a chance to compete, maybe not win, but you're going to cover spreads.
Yep, no doubt about that. But based on, of course, again, that's the assumption here is that with the Nets, we're going to be sellers because you see that season win total, 19.5. That was the lowest season win total of any team in the NBA, but the Nets are covering and they're scoring. So we'll go with that there. Of course, if that's the goal, outscore opponents, let's build trade value. Well, maybe keep the guys if you're in the playoff hunt. That may be another scenario they may explore. That may happen. Like Utah, right? Utah, was it a couple of years ago? Utah was supposed to be sellers, but they were winning games. There
was a team actually. I think they made the playoffs. That lost the first round. Who was it, Rod? The last 2 years, they actually sold off all their stuff and still made a run.
I thought that was the Utah Jazz, right? Donovan Mitchell were out. Gobert. Where was Gobert? Who was Gobert playing for?
Portland.
Was Gobert with
Utah before.
Utah, right? They cleaned right because that coach left, right? He left because they were.
That's right.
Yeah. And that was the Utah Jazz that were in contention, right? So, because remember they kept winning as home dogs early last season. So that was the team there. But sometimes that happens. So, all right, let's continue here on the Tony Morning Show. We'll close out the NBA with these final 3
And that's
games.
why they got spanked by Webby last night. So
yeah, that's right. They got spanked. That was a spot.
Utah's bad, man. Utah, this coach is on his way out. I'll tell you what's going to happen is the Utah coach might be the first one fired.
Yeah, because that was their spot.
Teams. I'm coming all kinds of off. I'm giving you all kind of off Vegas type angles here. Altitude, man. Basketball, bad teams, home teams in basketball. Altitude cover. You got to find a reason to get off of them and not to cover. It doesn't matter if you're Utah State, Utah Valley State, Utah, BYU.
Dixie College, Utah Tech, now Dixie College.
Yeah, right. Dixie College, right?
You know what? They love their basketball in Utah, man. I mean, boys and girls. I remember going through the gym there, watching all these little kids shoot. They weren't missing. I was like, what do they do? Keep them in here all day because it's snowing outside? I mean, they were little tykes. They had moved up. They were nailing their free throws. I was like, dude, they're not good. The sex wasn't even an issue. Everybody was out there playing, and they had boys playing the girls. I was just like, this place is a fact.
That's because of that. Who was that Utah coach that passed away? The Utes coach that took him to the Final Four. He then became St. Louis coach. He was an assistant. He had a lot to do with basketball.
Utah's a proud team. They're not going to keep that dude getting spanked like that very long. That was my whole point. They'll ship. You want to see an early season move? If he keeps it up, he'll be gone by the All-Star game.
Yep, no doubt about that one. Pacers, Pelicans here. Pacers 4 on the road. In this one, total 232. Boy, Pelicans a home underdog. Nuggets at T-Wolves. T-Wolves laying 4 there. Thunder and Blazers. Thunder now 11.5, total 221. We start with Rod.
Yeah, and you look at I'm looking at Denver coming into Minnesota. This is a revenge game there, and you're going to give me 4 with the Nuggets. I know they haven't covered nothing all season long, but I'll take the points with the Nuggets there in that one coming into Minnesota. They didn't get the nickname the House of Disappointment for a reason. So give me Denver plus the points in that one. And then, as you said, Portland getting 11.5. I see what OKC did. They won by 12, not 12.5. So they can win by 11, not 11.5 here in this one. Take Portland plus the points. Portland's been scrappy all season long to kick it off. 3-1-1 against the number. Yeah, you're going to give us double digits. I'll take Portland plus the points there.
There from Rod on. Let's update some of the injuries here. Nembhard and Turner questionable for Indiana. Pelicans still without McCollum, Murphy, and Murray out there. We know DeJounte Murray had that injury. There'll be some time away here for the Pelicans. Denver, Kankor Gordon are probable. Minnesota, a clean injury report. OKC, still the same guys. Hartenstein, Topic, Kenrick Williams, Jalen Williams out. And on the Portland side, still the same 3, Sharp, Thibault, and Williams. We move on over to Jorge.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't bet Denver or counterfeit money. I don't care if they're favored, dogs. They got the Russell Westbrook curse over there.
No.
There's the backup team's not playing no defense. They're giving up 119 points a game. Jokic is trying to carry it all. I don't know what's going on with Murray, guys. I don't know if you see the same things or kind of question it when you watch him. One too many injuries of driving to the hole and going crazy. I think your Canadian buddy up there hurt himself, Rod. He's just he's like a shell of himself. He's like he's lost a half a step. Before Djokovic could turn and start handing, give him the ball every time, and he would take over. Well, I don't think we've seen that like over in a year or so. They lost Caldwell Pop. Brown was awesome, especially in that system. He covered 2-3 different type of roles for that team, defensively and offensively. And I don't care how good Joker is. He's the best player in the league. The best player in the world, period. There's no doubt the way that guy plays, but no one can win a game by themselves. So I'm going to be on the – and, in Minnesota – got some new pieces. Randall's a baller. He's just trying to figure out where he fits in and, how he goes inside with, Gobert hanging out in there. So they're only going to get better. Denver's got to make some changes or they're going to be struggling to get to the playoff, to get into the play-in games.
Yeah, that's the way it is in the West. It's so competitive now with the resurgence of Memphis, and we'll see what Houston does. We move on over to Mindy.
Well, I'm just always mad because I get blacked out on OKC and Minnesota. Come on now. Why do I get blacked out on both of those, but I can watch the Bulls, so whatever. So I'm going to fade the Timberwolves here tonight because I can't watch them on TV at all. But they've also failed to cover their last 8 at home. Also, the Nuggets, when they lose, it's just by a tiny sliver. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Nuggets and the points. And it's the same thing, right? We talked about, Trailblazers. It's not like they're the Jazz, always losing by 12 to 17. They only lose by about 5. So I will be taking the points here with the Trailblazers. And then Pacers.
One thing you'll always get with that, Mindy, you're always going to get Chauncey Billups to get his guys to play hard. That's an
doubt. Like, hey,
the key is to play them smart, though. That's why we got to get that part fixed.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I'm going to go ahead and go with the Pelicans. I just kind of feel like something's wrong with the Pacers right now. They're not really getting it together. They have trouble covering, so I'm going to take the home team there.
Yeah, Mindy, all right, I'll tell you here. I think about these games here. I'm going to go under in the Pacers and the Pelicans. Just the fact that we've got some offensive issues on both sides. Pelicans 27th the Pacers 22nd in offensive efficiency, averaging 109 points per 100 possessions. Pelicans playing at a slow pace. So are the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers 12th in pace of play. They were like a top pace team last year, right? So maybe they're saying, well, we got some guys hurt last year. We lost Benedict Mathurin. We kind of petered out at the end of the season. Maybe we're gonna look for a peak finish instead of a peak start, because it seemed to me that the Pacers had a peak start and faded toward the end of the season. So maybe they're trying to reverse course here and maybe not put too much in that money game, right? We're going to be starting that a few weeks, maybe a week or so away from that play-in tournament that they hold over in Vegas there at the end. So we'll look there under here with Pacers and the Pelicans. Also, Pacers struggling from the 3-point line. They're on the road, 28%, but they do defend the perimeter. Nuggets and Timberwolves, I'm going to look under here in this game. 2 days rest for the Timberwolves. They're 6-2 at the under at home with those 2 days rest. I think we're going to see that Minnesota defense that we saw last year at some point come into play here, because you do have Randall in there. He can defend. I think he'll mix it good with these guys. Denver is a team that does not want to play fast on the road. If you ever watch those games, they're just really slow. And not enough bench depth for me here with this Nuggets team at all. Braun now in the starting rotation because lost Pope, and the coach calling out management for letting Pope go away. We're losing guys. He just says we're losing guys. I mean, that's pretty tough there. Head coach throwing your front office under the bus there. So that's interesting there.
The most valuable player, position role player on an NBA team for a championship team is your 2 guard who plays excellent defense that can hit a wide open shot. Caldwell Pop and what's his face over at the Celtics that was on the Bucks? Holiday. Holiday. You got a defensive stopper that can hit a wide open 3 and be that third scorer. Most valuable role player on the team in the NBA right now.
There you go. From Jorge there. Now I'm going to go OKC and Portland under 220. You got to just erase that game 1 from Portland's ledger there. And if you do that, you're seeing OKC playing. You're seeing Portland playing some pretty good defense. OKC tops in defensive efficiency, 91 points per 100 possessions. But is it costing them some offense because they can't hit threes? Just 31% from 3. Man, look at this defense. This looks like college defense, like Connecticut playing defense here. 38% shooting, 28% from three. They're playing UConn type defense in college. They're making pros look like college players the way they're playing right now. As we know, the shooting has not been as good for the Thunder on the road. Portland still not shooting the ball very well. 43%, 33% from three. It looks like they've tried to correct that defense. We saw that. I've been on them, right? That game to get the Clippers there. They can defend. We'll look under in that one. All right, let's continue here on the Tony's Picks Morning Show as we are going to transition here to hockey, which means we're going to say goodbye to Jorge. Right now, we'll see what Jorge has for sale over at Tony's Picks. Heading to a huge weekend here of football, NBA action as well. And of course, we've got college basketball starting next week. We put up the numbers. Jorge having a fantastic 2024 unit, 2,283 units of profit. What do you got for sale over at Tony's Picks?
So I'm going to have some basketball plays up here by the 8 o'clock deadline or 11 a.m. on the East Coast. Definitely going to be looking get some weather reports, not just that you mentioned there's quite a few games. I'm going to check that out. Thanks for the update on the Midwest. I knew that we had some out there on the East Coast in Florida. But always looking for a bad weather. I'm always up for a little bit of different angles. I mean, it's just kind of the way I've always done it. And not scared to jump out in front of a trend with players coming back from injuries or where they're at. They call it whatever they want. But at the end of the day, if it covers spreads for me, I'm on it. So definitely would have some picks there, guaranteed picks or the packages, 3 days or more. You get the late steam. I love that feature on the site. And definitely have my Saturday plays up later today.
That's right, guys. Got Jorge over at Tony's Picks. Great results for 2024. You guys like buying that 3-day pass here on the Friday because you have all the Friday, Saturday, Sunday football, NBA mixed in there from Jorge. Remember that promo code Tony T at checkout. We'll save you that 15% off. Of course, click the link in the description. You'll find Jorge among the leaderboards over at Tony'sPicks.com. Just click his link and you'll get to a sales page and go ahead and get signed up. All right, Jorge. It's always great having your show. Continue that great success. We'll talk with you soon.
Have one day.
Bye-bye.
All right, Jorge here on the 26th Morning Show. Let's continue here as we move on over the ice. NHL card for tonight. We've got a 6-game card. We'll knock them out in 2 blocks. We'll start here with early action here. Panthers and Stars, early start.
They are early today, aren't they?
Eastern time. Keep an eye on early hockey there. Panthers, Stars, Senators, Rangers, Islanders, and Sabres. We start there with Rob.
Yeah, you look at Ottawa taking on the Rangers here in this one, and I like the over 6.5 goals there in that one. Both teams have been lighting the lamp or picking the puck out of their net over the last couple of games. So definitely goals will plenty in that one early. Give me the over 6.5 there. With a lean to the Rangers to bounce back off of their loss. They play some pretty good hockey at home in that one. And then looking at Buffalo taking on the Islanders, I like Buffalo there in that spot. The Islanders, their last time out, they lost, making them now 1-11 in the back-to-back spot. Expecting a bounce back here. Nah, give me Buffalo here in this spot. Lead to an over as well. I think we see plenty of goals in that one. And I like the under between Florida and Dallas. You should have Bobrovsky in net. You should have Ottinger going for Dallas on that one. Now it's going to feel like a playoff game.
Well, this is a neutral site game. I'm sorry. This is a neutral site game. This one will be played. Where is it being played?
It is in
Nokia Arena. Huh.
Yeah, it might be in Europe. Might be a European game. Nokia Arena, I believe, is in. So that might be one of those Prague games. Hold on,
Let's see here. Yeah, because this is a neutral. At the end showed up on my screen. So a neutral site. Let's see what we see here. Maybe someone in the chat. Well, let's see. We'll see.
Yeah, they're not really saying, like, just if I look on the app, you know?
Yeah, they're not telling you. Finland. This game. Okay.
Finland is. I totally forgot. Yeah, that this I didn't even realize.
Because we're like, what's a
thing? But I had this on the thing. It's one of those European games. They have a couple. They normally do them just at the start of the year, but they throw this one in as another little bonus in Finland. So definitely, I like the out of there as you're going to get a bigger ice surface most likely in Finland. I haven't dug and deep dived into this Nokia Arena, but I think usually when you go over to Europe, like we've seen in that first game, the ice is just a touch bigger. And these two teams are definitely solid defensively. Give me the under there.
Under there from Rod, we move on over to Mindy.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Panther Stars going under today. Just feels like that is what it's going to be, a rough one to score anything. And then I'm also going to be on the Sabres there with you. They've won in their last 8. Islanders right now -7 when it comes to point differential. So they're not having. I mean, they've had their spots, but overall, man, they just get beat pretty big sometimes. And then I'm going to go ahead and be on. I'm going to go ahead and be on the Senators, only because the underdogs here, they've won in the last 5 in this matchup. Also, like you said, lean to the over in that one.
Yeah, from Mindy, all right, let's close out the NHL tonight as we'll cover the final 3 games here with the Jets, Blue Jackets, Lightning and Wild, and out west, Devils and Flames. We start with Rod.
Yeah, and look at the Devils taking on Calgary. I'm going to take Devils on the puck line in that one. Calgary's they had a good start. Congratulations, nice start to the season. Here you go. Now you're looking like the dead last team in the NHL as you do a complete nosedive off the cliff. Good to see. Love to see Calgary doing the nosedive off the cliff. Definitely not a Calgary fan in that one. So I like the Devils to come in and whoop it up. They look real good whooping it up against Vancouver. And the way that Calgary gives up shots, I think this Devils team can come in there and win by 2+. Give me the Devils on the puck line in that one. And then Tampa taking on Minnesota. That's going to be a close, tight game in that one. These two teams don't like each other, so I like the over 6. You look both teams trending the scoring lots of goals. 5-4-1 for Tampa to the over. Minnesota 4-4 to the over. Give me the over 6. I think that's a touch light in that one. Both offenses have been shining for those teams. Give me the over 6 there.
Yeah, from Rod, move on over to Mindy.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead. I saw folks talking about the Jets earlier, but I'm going to be on the Blue Jackets here today. Look at these guys, +10 when it comes to scoring differential. So they're actually getting it done when they need to. Also, the underdogs in this matchup has won the last 4. Devils and Flames, I agree. I like the over. It's gone that way in their last 5 matchups. And then I think I'm going to go oppo there with the Lightning and the Wild. I'm going to go ahead and go to the under on that one. Sometimes it's one of those when you got 2 teams that are scoring a bunch. Suddenly you don't get that in these kinds of matchups. So I'm going to lean to the under there in that last one.
Yeah, from Mindy. All right, we got you through the NHL. Now it's time for our Parlay Purple segment where the cappers can give out a parlay or a team or player prop or a feature game coming up from NFL college football. We'll start here with Ron.
We're going to go with the little parlay. We're going to go with take the Hornets plus the points. Lay it with the Lakers. Raptors getting whooped today. Whooped. Spanking by the. They're not even going to get a sniff in that one. Lakers going to mow them down. I think the Lakers win by 20 in that one. You might want to take an extend, though. I think they easily whoop the Raptors by 20. So take the Charlottes plus the points. Lay it with the Lakers in that one. And then the last one, take Portland plus the points against OKC.
Yeah, from Ron. 3 team from Ron on over to Mindy.
All right. Well, hey, I'll give you my favorites in each of them today. I like UConn today to cover the spread in college football. I'll be on the Cavs there versus the Magic. I like the home team and how they cover. They don't lose by much when they do that sort of thing. And then I'm going to go ahead and be on that under in the Panthers Stars. So there's a little 3-team parlay for you.
Team from Mindy. I'll give you what I like. I like the San Diego State here at the plus price. Also take the Pistons at the plus. And I'll take the Nets laying about 1.5, 2 in that with my 3-team parlay. All right, let's continue here on the Tony Morning Show. Let's find out what the cappers have for sale today. Head into a huge weekend of action when we flip the calendar. It's now November. It is now November. So it's big game month in college football. NFL, we're going to start seeing separation from these teams. We'll take a look over at Rod, who's having a fantastic year at Tony'sPicks.com this year. 889 units of profit. What do you have for sale?
And for me, over at Tony's Picks today, I've got a play in the college football. I got a triple in the NBA. Nice little 3-pack there available. I've got my NHL sniper play early, and then I'll throw another sniper later. I got 2 plays in the NHL I absolutely love today. So definitely head on over, scoop it up, grab that 3-day pass, join me for the weekend. I'll have probably at least anywhere from 12 to 15 college football games tomorrow that I absolutely love. We got a loaded NHL card. Probably 2 or 3 plays there as well. Another big loaded NBA card. It's that time of year where we have so many sports overlapping. It's easier to get on something long-term and better for you as well. Not having to buy all these plays and packages and singly all over the place. It's better to get long-term. As you can see, long-term bet has been up units this year so far. Sometimes when you buy that package, it loses. You can't win them all. So if you're serious about betting, sports betting, get on long-term. That's the way to go. And then you get the late steam plays as well. If you throw on something late info play that we get, then you get that email to you. So you don't miss out on those plays as well. Best way to go. Don't miss out on that 2-for-1 capper promotional as well. Pair me up with another one of the hot handicappers over at Tony's Picks. And have yourself a big winning weekend. Jump in. Let's get it.
Let's get it, guys. Got on board with Rod over at Tony's Picks, doing great work. Take a look at Mindy right now over at Tony's Picks. Mindy having a monster year in the NFL this year, 1190 units of profit. What do you got for sale? I didn't do it to Mindy. I do it to Rod, now I'm doing this to Mindy. What do you have for sale over at Tony's Picks?
I liked the under last night, and then I wound up being on the Texans. Darn it! I know. I blame Fairbairn for missing two field goals. Let's just say that. And Tony tries to warn me about him and Koo all the time, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've had a great week so far, or a great season so far in the NFL. So this is it. It's your time to get your 3-day pass. So you get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that way we'll have you covered for the NFL there as well. But yeah, every single day, make sure you get over to Tony'sPicks.com. Check out the hot cappers. You can go from hot capper to hot capper to hot capper over there. And I think that's the way to strategically your way to get past Vegas there. So make sure you check out all of the hot cappers. You can find them all right here. I mean, look at Tony, look at Rod, look at Jorge, just totally crushing it out there. So make sure you check them out and use that promo code TonyT at checkout as well. But I'll get you covered today in each of the sports. So find me over there on the All Cappers tab. You can do it.
And on board with Mindy here, just click the link to TonySwiss.com. All Cappers tab, you'll find her link there. Use that promo code TonyT at checkout. You'll save that 15% off right now over at Tony'sPicks.com. I'll have a best bet up there for you as well. It's multi-packs. Of course, you don't get with me here on a 3-pack. That's your best value there. Instead of paying per pick, you save money when you bet a long-term pass. Of course, you'll have my NBA college football, NBA for this weekend. When you get that 3-day pass, use promo code PICK. Use promo code TonyT at checkout. You'll save that 15% off. All right. We got you through the promo part of the show. Let's find out what the cappers have over at the Tony Hawk's YouTube channel. Rod, what you got over on the channel coming up this weekend?
And lots of hockey, and more hockey. We did shoot the NFL week show between me and Ron, so definitely go check that out. It's archived over there. We're going to shoot the college show later today. A little late. A bunch of people had some stuff pop up. Life happens. So we'll get that out to you later today. So look for that tonight. And definitely I'll probably throw a 3-team college football parlay in there. I'll have one for the NFL as well. So definitely be on the lookout. Lots of content over here at the YouTube channel here. So definitely go check out all that archived content. Lots of cappers starting to put some content in here at Tony's Picks. Nice to see. Definitely go check it all out.
Yeah, check them out over at Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Minnie, what can we find for you this weekend on Tony's Picks YouTube channel? We also find some of your work written over on the site.
That's right. I'll get you covered in college football. We'll get you covered in the NFL. So you can go ahead and take some of those deep dives with me into those winners. And then again, we'll be doing that college football show here, and it will be out soon. So be on the lookout for our 10 faves on the week. So we'll get you covered for college football for game day tomorrow.
That's right, guys. Check us out, guys. Like, subscribe, set those notifications so we get these our cappers with their content over on the Tony Picks YouTube channel. Don't want to miss any of the free picks. And of course, we're live with you every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Back live tomorrow. We'll have that coverage free from college football, NBA, NHL. Of course, the NFL will be on Sunday. And looking forward to start of college basketball as well, heading into Monday. So, it's going to get a lot of content for you here on the Tony Picks morning show. So we'll be looking forward to that. Before we sign off, anybody have anything in closing?
That seems like it's so close. College football or college basketball,
Yes.
It just doesn't seem right. So yeah, it's going to be some fun times here coming up. That's for sure.
That is correct. All right, very good, guys. That's going to do it for the show. Back tomorrow live, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure to like, subscribe. And if you ever miss a live show or you want to see it again to soak in more of the information, it's always available archived over in our live section on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Well, goodbye, guys. You guys make it a winning day. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on the Tony's Picks Morning Show.